All right. Well, you took the exam. What did you take it today? How did it go?
Yes, I took it this morning at 10:30 in the morning.
All right.
It was nerve-wracking for me. I actually took the full 4 hours. Was not expecting that
Yeah.
because all the practice exams I took with your course, I was done in about 2.5 to 3 hours max.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think I just took too long
That's
on
all
the
right.
first section, and so my timing was off. But I finished it and I
That's good.
passed.
That's all that really matters. Doesn't matter
Right.
if you take
So,
4 hours or 1 hour. It doesn't matter. So that's good.
right.
So cool. Talk us through a little bit of kind of your story of how you got here. Like, what was the PMP kind of like story for you? How you got to pass the exam? When what did it go like?
So my story is I've been in the oil and gas industry my whole career.
Hmm.
And with all this downturn, COVID issues,
Right.
and layoffs happening, I was part of a layoff.
Oh,
And for me to be able to get uh, another opportunity or have a stronger resume,
hmm.
I figured I needed another boost.
Okay.
And I always wanted to do project management. I've always done it, just never got the title
Sure.
for it. So I was like, well, my next step would be either an MBA or something,
Yeah.
or what's more achievable at this moment. Also, that I could manage with being laid off and all those financial issues, and
Yeah.
having two kids under the age of 2 to take care of.
That's crazy.
So, right, poor planning on my part. Um,
It happens. Yeah, that's all right.
So when that happened, I started looking into the PMI and whether to do the CAPM or the PMP. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do
Yeah,
it full throttle. So
right on.
I started searching for figuring out, courses. So you have to take a 35-hour course and all of that.
Hmm.
I've found the one on LinkedIn that Sandy does.
Yep.
So I took that, extremely helpful and insightful, but I was like, I feel like I need something else, like a little
Cool.
more interaction
Yeah.
doing it. And then she posted about your program on LinkedIn,
Cool.
actually.
Yeah.
And that's when I found it. And I was like, okay, let's try this. And that's how I found you.
That's
And it was a
awesome.
lifesaver.
Ah, I appreciate it. That's cool. Well, that's good because Sandy and we work together, and Sandy's great. So I'm glad we were able to complete the loop. So talk us through kind of like what helped you did the accelerator, right? So like,
Yeah.
what helped you with the accelerator? What did you like about the 7-day accelerator?
It was straight to the point.
Cool.
So it was, you need to study, here's this video for a certain process, et cetera. Like it wasn't like, oh, just read. I
Hmm.
hate reading. I hate reading. So
Me too.
it wasn't like, oh, read 40 pages and then watch one little video and then do some
Yeah.
questions. It was more like, hey, this is the key points. This is the major topics. Um, Understand it
Hmm.
basically. And the study cases, the case
Hmm.
study videos, those are actually pretty interesting. They get me like to thinking.
Okay.
So those
That's good.
actually helped me a lot.
Right on. That's good. So how long did your like the whole studying go? Like since you got into you did the Sandy course, that's awesome. How long, it wasn't that long you were in the accelerator. How long do you think it was?
In the actual accelerator,
Yeah.
I mean, if you count the weekends, it was 2.5 weeks.
Okay,
But
that's not.
I didn't do any studying on the weekends with the kids. I
Yeah,
focused my time on family.
that's good.
Um, so I did like a Monday to Friday ish.
So we're talking about like
uh,
10 days, 10 and a half or 15, 12, 13
12
days, maybe
days, like
12
12 days
days.
or so.
That's
Yeah.
not bad. That's not bad. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you went to coaching calls and stuff, I know a lot with me. And then did you do any of the like individual coaching, the smaller group coaching?
Yes, I did coaching with Salvador.
Oh, Salvador, dude. Salvador's like a machine. He's got like
Yes.
so many students pass. How are the coaching calls with Salvador?
They're actually really good, very detailed,
Yeah.
like very thorough, I guess. If we didn't understand something or, someone was going towards the wrong answer, basically the question, he'd be like, okay, somebody else chose this other option. Can someone please help this person and say why you chose this other option? Or like, so there's a lot of back and forth, but that's how we learn to understand why, basically,
Yeah.
or what would be the better option or the best answer. That's the tricky part.
That
But
is the tricky part. So how did you go about, I mean, that's a new concept. Most people in PMP think like, oh, I got to memorize or I got to do the billion questions, but we slow it down and like talk through the why. Like, how did that help you work out, the logic behind the questions? How did it help you?
um, a lot actually, because so a lot of these questions in the exam today, they're all situational, right?
Hmm.
There's hardly anything that says definition per se,
Yeah,
at least the ones I got. But
sure.
it was a lot of saying that when I guess go through the process, it was like, okay, what makes sense? What would I never do? This doesn't make sense at all. And you would go down the 50-50, and then you have the last two, and you're like, okay, what sounds best or proactive, or
Yeah.
what's something in the process that I have to do before this next step? And that was my thing. And a lot of the questions that I flagged in the first portion, I flagged like 10 questions. And I feel like that was a lot for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I slowed down, because when I went to go back and check on it, it added that time
Extra
for
time.
it.
Yeah.
And when I realized my mistake there on stuff like that, when I went to the second portion, I was like, okay, either I'm gonna go through it, I know it, or I don't. Like
I like it.
I'm not flagging any of this because it was slowing me down on my part. So I was just like, okay, 50-50, what do I got? If I didn't know like at all, like I just like went blank or something, I was just like, okay, what would I would do? If I was running this, what would I do?
I like that.
So I was like, well, I hope I chose the right one.
I guess you did. I mean, but I
Right.
think that's good that you didn't take a like an abstract approach. You said, what would I do? And we try to think through that the entire time. So I'm glad it paid off for you. And as you think about kind of like whatever the next job is for you or their next position, um, thinking about what would you do you think your approach on how you lead projects or you get involved with projects, has that changed or evolved since going through this PMI thing, the course?
Actually, a lot. It made me realize why a lot of my projects had so many issues in the
Okay.
past couple of years. Because the company would have is like OPAs, like all the
Yeah.
templates, everything you're supposed to do for a project, etc. Like everything, like with tabs, a huge Excel sheet, etc. But a lot of stuff was like skipped or like, oh, you don't really need that. Oh, it's okay if you don't get that, stuff like that, just to get it going.
Yeah.
And as the project manager, quote unquote, of the project, it's it's a functional one, right? So
Mhm.
I didn't have no power over anything.
Yeah.
So it was just authority up top said, hey, get this done. Hey,
Mhm.
do this, delete that.
Right.
So whenever stuff happened wrong, everything was delayed or chaos happened, like, oh, why didn't you have this plan? Or why didn't you have this set? You
Yeah.
told me to get rid of it. You told
Yeah.
me not to do it. So like it made a lot of sense why there was chaos, basically.
All right, that's good. So now next time, I mean, you got to operate in the system that you're in, but at least like
Right.
a little bit more engaged, a little bit more planning in front that you can kind of maybe delay some of that chaos that they'd cause.
I have
So
a certification that tells them I know what I'm talking about.
there you go. There you go. That's cool. All right. Well, there are probably a lot of people out there that are like you, like busy moms, got jobs or in between jobs and stuff like that. Got to manage a family and manage themselves and get things through and want to get the PMP. They know they can do it. For those people out there that are like you, what would you say to them as they go forth and get their PMP? What would be your advice for them?
Don't say you can't do it,
Okay.
because you feel like you're always like, oh, there's always so many, I guess, obstacles in your way. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to take care of the kids. Oh, I have to search for a job. Oh, I have to do this. And I'm just like, the only way you're gonna succeed is investing time in yourself
Nice.
and improving yourself. So whatever it is you want to do, whether you want to lose 100 pounds, you got to dedicate to it. So same thing. If you want to get this certification to better your career, to improve the life of your kids or your family, whatever, you have to dedicate yourself to that.
That's awesome.
So
That is really good. Now, how they think, I love that because they'll like get them going and they know they can. I mean, I realize like while I'm doing this, I got like Legos in my hands. So I got like kids around too. So I got Legos in my hands somehow. They're on my desk. And so from the PMP perspective, like if you were to say, this is how you guys should think about approaching the content and thinking about studying for someone that's totally new like you, how would you frame it for them? How would you advise them to look at things?
I had to actually reteach myself how to study.
Oh, okay.
So I've been out of college or study mode for 7 years.
Hmm.
And so I haven't taken an exam in 7 or 8 years.
Oh, okay.
So that was very different for me to reteach myself how to learn something, how to sit down and study, take a notes, and how to take a test again, because I haven't taken one in a long
Yeah.
time. So it was just more of finding your methods, like finding what works for you.
Mm.
I guess like some people really like to read and understanding before they go into videos or take questions. For me, it's more interaction, doing problems, or talking it out through myself. Like I actually do, when I was practicing at home, I would say stuff out loud. But then I
Mm.
had to kind of stop because I was like, I can't do that on the test.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
What you
But
can
at
do
least,
to,
well, yeah, you can do it in your head. And that's what I was doing during my exam. Like, okay, does this make sense? This is not, I don't think that's right. I don't like that idea. Or
yeah.
so, like, and I would catch myself like moving my head, like making gestures because that's what I was going through. But it was just that I had to go back and reteach myself how to study because I didn't understand too how to do it again after being out of it for so long.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't
Yeah.
think about it. So,
Sure. That's not bad. I mean, it's good that you took control. I mean, it didn't take forever. Plenty of people are out there studying for 12 months, 16 months, 8 months,
yeah, I can't.
whatever. You didn't, you have things to do. So you got
Right.
kids to raise and you got jobs to get and stuff like that. So you got through it quickly, like really quickly, which is super impressive. And then what I was so impressed in all the calls is that you just had a sound logic for everything that you're doing and you were open to listen to other people and like, oh, here's your opinion. This is what I think. Let's see who's right. And so obviously it paid off. So I love the
Right.
fact that you put the work in and I think you're going to be, whoever gets you next for job wise is going to be really lucky because I know you're going to do well. So that's really good. All right. Well, I know it's late here. Congratulations. Anything you're going to do to celebrate now that you passed?
Um, Drink. I've been away from it for 2 weeks on purpose.
All right, all
So,
right, all right. Don't go too
um,
crazy, but I'm glad you're gonna have a drink. Have a drink for me. And
I may
so
have a date night. I may have a
uh,
date night.
you
So,
may have a date night. Oh
yeah.
God, we might have 3 kids under 2 now. Who knows? No,
No,
no.
no,
All
no,
right, all
no,
right. Who
no.
knows? All right, cool. Well, have a good date night and a couple drinks, and you did a great time, great job. And so we really appreciate you participating in the groups, and we're just happy that we could help you out. So we'll talk to you
Thank
later.
you.
See ya.
Thank you.
Right on.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. All right. See ya.